updated last night. So I wonder if I did the update then. It was like, oh, I'll do it all in one go. Because apparently I missed an update on my computer. So why is it loading a whiteboard? I didn't hit whiteboard. Oh, did we lose Crad?
Oh, and now Crad's gone.
I somehow opened whiteboard and lost Crad. That's a great start to a show. Oh, that's staying in. That's great. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Long Distance Party Podcast. We just lost Crad, so if you're confused,
Well, he's
I
back.
hit record and Crad just disappeared. So I don't know. He got scared of the whiteboard. That's what it was. Because I tapped the whiteboard. I don't know why. I wasn't even near that button. But technical issues, because apparently everyone had to update before the recording. So one of those things. But this is what, episode 24 or 25? I can't remember. No, it's 24.
No idea.
I think it's 24. Right? I'll fix it, whatever. Fix it in post.
I don't know. Last recording session was a two-parter, so I don't know.
Yeah, funny. I have that part edited. I still haven't put it up because my computer last night, I had no internet last night. It's conked out, so even my own videos went up late because my whole internet just conked out, kept flipping on and off. Like someone had a light switch. And I was getting so I just went to bed. I was like, I'll mess with this in the morning. It was flipping great. I was loving it.
That's a major suckage.
Guarantee someone was well, I don't know. Apparently there's they're doing scheduled power outages through the whole town. So
oh geez.
That's probably why. But we are discussing topics to talk about, not about power outages or technical issues. We were talking about I brought up Disney movies, and then Strange was like, hey, what about the eras and the decline of Disney? Because last episode we kind of brought up some stuff Disney was announcing at D23, and some of that other stuff, and it kind of goes
just
with
talked Marvel, didn't we? Did we go beyond that?
Well, I mean, Marvel is Disney.
Well, they're owned by Disney, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it kind of went with that. Just Disney's plan, I guess, with the decline. What their plan was, I guess, to give them a little boost.
Try to come back, yeah.
Let's just do a bunch of sequels. So it's the what was it, late 2000s where they had direct to DVD sequels that I don't think anyone watched.
They've been doing that since, I mean, they had direct to VHS sequels.
Yeah, but that was
back in
a
the day.
brief period that they were doing that.
Not really. I mean, well, during the Renaissance, because it started in the Renaissance era, but we can get into that when we get there.
Yes. But I guess the first question is, what was everyone's favorite Disney movie?
Okay, and just to clarify, we're talking strictly about animated, correct?
Yes, we're not going into. We might touch on the live action stuff, but we're not going to go into the Marvel stuff.
Well, yeah, anything subsidiary, not Pixel or Marvel or
Star Wars.
Pixar, excuse me, Pixar.
Yeah.
Star Wars. Yeah, strictly Disney animated studios.
Pixel was a horrible Adam Sandler movie. We're not going to talk about that. That's
no, I missaid it. I meant Pixar. Because Pixar is a whole different ballgame.
Yes, that's even though Disney has just folded it in. I've always thought it's something separate.
Yeah,
that's how it was always billed when I was a kid. So the not Disney stuff, that's over there. Just ignore it.
Right.
For later, it's a later thing. But yeah, what was everyone's Disney movie that they kind of liked watching as a kid or grew up with? I guess is the starting point. Bambi.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'm not going to judge you. I mean, Bambi's not that bad of a movie.
I cried when his mother died. No.
On that foot. So in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, so Judge Doom was supposed to be the hunter from Bambi. That was
really?
His origin. And they're they're the same character.
We've set up a hotline of talking Disney Animation Studios, and immediately goes to
separate.
Roger Rabbit.
Well, that is separate. Dang it.
Hey, Mickey Mouse appeared in that movie. right next to Bugs Bunny, which is pretty awesome. But anyway.
Well, they had to have equal screen time.
Yeah,
I think a big one in my growing up time in the '90s was The Lion King.
Yeah.
The original Lion King. I can remember watching that like in elementary school.
Oh yeah.
So that was a big one for me.
Yeah, definitely Lion King was a big one for me too. Aladdin, so Aladdin and Hercules were two of my big ones when I was a kid.
For me, I got hit with it all at once. Being a kid of 2000s, I got hit with like it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one that like stuck out in my mind the most that I remember watching was, well, no, that's Pixar. No, Finding Nemo's not Pixar.
Finding Nemo's Pixar.
Is it Pixar? Okay, never mind.
It is. I watched that one a ton too. But...
Again, there's the whole Disney Pixar kind of the same thing at this point. Not really, but a lot of people see them the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Aladdin was, I think, that big one. Like that's one that caught my mind, like my interest a lot. I think it was just its feel. I think is how like its colors and look. Like for me, that was like, oh, that's I like that feeling aesthetic versus stuff like Sleeping Beauty, which I remember kind of liking because I just again liked how stuff looked.
Well, Maleficent was still one of the best villains, so you know.
Yes, I think I just liked that she was kind of like one of the better Disney villains. Like she wasn't too much, which I think I really liked. In like her and Jafar, I feel like would be friends because they weren't too much.
Yes.
They're kind of just like the understated villains. Like they weren't too theatric.
Right.
I mean,
they were the most. They were the scariest. Like two that I remember be like, if there was two I ever came across, those two would be like the scariest.
Was Tim Curry Jafar?
No.
Or okay, that's something in my like I was like, oh, it's Tim Curry.
No, I forget his name, but it definitely was not Tim Curry. I don't think Tim Curry was in any of the Disney animated. I know he was in Fern Gully, as he was the bad guy in Fern Gully.
Yeah, and I know he was. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't get Tim Curry at any point.
Yeah, this is kind of weird, isn't it?
Like he would have been like that was like his kind of prime was in that era, because again he did Fern Gully. He was on Thornberrys, which that wasn't Disney, that was Nickelodeon.
Yeah, Thornberrys, that was a good one. It was Jeremy Irons was Scar.
You mean Jafar? I know Jeremy Irons.
Sorry,
Jafar.
Jafar.
I was confused. I was like, did he do both?
Jafar,
like,
excuse me.
Props to him. Like props to him if he did
why
both.
I was thinking of. Okay, not that one. Old Aladdin. Okay, Jafar was Jonathan Freeman.
That name sounds familiar, but again, I don't know why it was Tim. Oh, I thought Tim Curry.
Yeah, definitely not Tim Curry. I know Tim Curry's voice. It was definitely not Tim Curry.
No, he was. No, he was. No, he wasn't Long John Silver. He was in the Muppet one, but
he was the Muppets Long John Silver, which was awesome.
I was. I'm thinking
that was
Treasure
a good
Planet.
one.
I was thinking Treasure Planet, which was also a great Disney movie.
That was an excellent, very underrated Disney movie. Very
yes, it was in that era of underrated films.
That was post-Renaissance.
Yeah, it was kind of like in that weird pre-post era.
Yeah. But well, so I sent out a graph to you guys earlier, and I don't know if you can post it somewhere or link to it, but that Treasure Planet is in the post-Renaissance era, which is 1999 to 2007. And
yeah,
that's
which
after
which again, being exposed to all at once, it never clicked in my head that was in that era because I never like as a kid was like, oh, it's from the 30s or the 40s. To me, I was like, it was all at once, so I really didn't care. It wasn't more recent. I was like, again, I think I was just looking at this graph. I was like, oh shoot, Peter Pan came out in this around this time, and then you go back and look at it. I was like, oh, that makes sense. Why I think Walt Disney shows up at the end, and he's black and white, and I was confused. I was like, why is it black and white? Like that never clicked in my head. I was like, oh, they're doing something interesting.
Yeah. No, it was growing up and then finding out later movies like 101 Dalmatians and Peter Pan and Lady and the Tramp were from like the 50s and 60s was like just kind of blew my mind when I finally realized that, like how old they were.
I think it just showed like it's the timelessness, I guess, of that era of film. Like clearly they were set in like a period like 101 Dalmatians is set in like London, like the certain period in London, like obvious where it's set, but I never felt like it was old. I was like, oh, they're going for some type of style, which that Cruella de Vil movie tried doing, which cause it
I
was
never
like
saw that.
let's do it was like let's do 60s punk rock, which was kind of interesting, but like it's supposed to be before the original film or something like that, but not related to the other live action Wonder One Dalmatians that they did.
Oh yeah. Back when
Like,
they were doing all of the like villain origin stories or whatever.
yeah, well, that was like even before like they did Maleficent. That was like there was a big break. At least I feel like there was a big break between they did that
Yeah,
and
I
they
guess
were
it
doing
was,
live
yeah.
action ones.
I just because I watched Maleficent, but I didn't watch Cruella, so
I never watched Maleficent.
yeah. I
Was
thought it was
not
pretty
very
good.
interested. I wasn't very interested in that. I was like, I know what happened. She's the villain. She goes to the castle. She later dies. Like
Well,
I
they
didn't
went
need to
into
know.
like her motivations of why she was so upset with that family to like just be, oh, I wasn't invited. I'm gonna curse your daughter, kind of thing. So
I guess, but not everything needs an origin. To quote
yeah, I can
Jurassic
understand
Park,
that.
just because you can does not mean you should. Like everything doesn't need an origin.
Yeah.
Like it didn't. Like I don't want to see a Hopper origin film. Is it Hopper? Whatever the
What's
bug,
Hopper?
the bug from Bug's Life, the villain
Oh,
from
Bug's
Bug's
That's
Life.
Life. Yeah.
Hopper, I believe.
People had such a fascination with villains. They wanted to dive deeper and make them more relatable somehow. So that's
I
where you get
guess.
Cruella and Maleficent. Like Hopper, yeah, you wouldn't do that, but
No,
I
I
don't know.
guess.
Well, Hopper wasn't a very interesting villain, but anyway.
Well,
Yeah.
I ended up watching like a whole video. Like, someone was like explaining Bug's Life, like it was like the forgotten stepchild of like those early Pixar films. But we're not doing Pixar. We keep bringing up
Yeah.
Pixar for some reason.
You
I
keep
think
bringing up Pixar.
yeah, it's me. It's my fault why we keep bringing up Pixar. But yeah, but like that whole going by the eras, like I forgot that Bambi. Like I don't know again because I get all at once that like Snow White, Pinocchio, Fantasia. I forgot Fantasia came out in like the 30s.
Yeah,
But
I
like,
forgot that was so early. Yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy.
like, and if you actually go back and look, and it's going with like with I think the problem Disney's in now is a lot of these movies back then were kind of experimental because like they were like their
Oh
first
yeah.
films.
Yep,
Like it was kind of
absolutely.
interesting.
By the way, if you go back and look, which I'm doing currently at the different films and everything, just the amount of movies they put out, it was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's both animated and not animated. It's just as
Yeah,
many as they
Oh
pushed
yeah.
out every year. It's nuts.
Well, they had various teams because they had two teams working on Pocahontas and Lion King at the same time,
Right.
like A team and B team. And A team, because they thought Pocahontas was going to be the big one, was going to be the big money maker,
which is
and they had the A
crazy.
team on there. And they let the B team like, oh yeah, we have this other movie. It's called The Lion King. You guys can work on that. And that ended up being the one that made it big.
Took it out, yeah.
Yeah. And
Which I think's crazy.
yeah.
But
There's one
like,
I'd forgotten. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, you're good.
I was gonna say there's one I'd forgotten about, Pinocchio.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
Yeah,
It's definitely a classic. I mean, that's back in the golden era. So that's what
Hmm.
for anyone listening, that's called the golden era, 1937 to 1942 was Snow White, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo, and Bambi.
Right.
Like the OGs for sure.
OGs.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Oh, jeez. No.
I think in that list, I think 'cause I think I've only seen Dumbo once. I think it's like the lowest out of all of those.
It's
Like that's not one that's very memorable in my mind.
it's definitely not my favorite. I think the scene where he gets drunk and goes into this like just
Yes.
weird visions, I think that just freaked me out a little bit when I was a kid.
Well, also it's like I guess there's no real. I wouldn't say there's no real stakes because the whole movie is Dumbo. I guess trying to like, again trying to remember this movie is him trying to find his place.
Pretty much, yeah, because he was born
Yeah,
with like super large ears and everybody made fun of him.
for some reason.
Yeah, but he ended up.
It's never explained.
Yeah,
I don't think they ever explained it in the Tim Burton remake they did.
I didn't see that one either.
Me neither. I had no interest.
Yeah,
I had zero interest. But like, yeah, like this kind, I think set Disney's standard, I guess, of what films they would do, what they proved they could do, and then moving on, you had the wartime era, which if you actually go back and look back, it's very much these films that I didn't know they did. And I can't really zoom in, so I can't read stuff. But
yeah.
I think
There's
Winnie the Pooh's in there.
no, it's Saludos Amigos, Fun and Fancy Free, The Three
Jack and the Beanstalk,
Caballeros, Melody Time, Ichabod and
Mr. Toad.
Ichabod and Mr. Toad, The Adventures, and then Make Mine Music. At least that's the chart I'm looking at right now.
Yeah,
I think it's the same thing.
Jack and the Beanstalk is the one that sticks out to me. It's on there.
Yeah.
Also, because I think whatever version I watched had like Jeff Dunham at the beginning. Like it was like he introed the movie. That's all I remember of that. Like I remember the movie, but for some reason I remember Jeff Dunham being like opening the story, and I don't know why.
Jeff Dunham?
I think, or I'm like,
Are you sure about that?
I think I'm either.
I don't think
that's
Jeff
the
Dunham
case.
was born yet.
Well, no, it was like a later release they did of it.
Oh, later release? Maybe.
I think, or I'm like combining two things together, which is totally possible in my mind. Like, because there were times in school that would put these movies on, like after school. So I got left at school a lot because my mom was a teacher and worked, so I usually had to stay after. And like it was me and like a group of other kids, like we were essentially the teacher kids and stuff like that, where like we'd have to they put movies on. So sometimes I was like wasn't very interested because it was other movies that I was like I don't really care. And I think in my mind just like started piecing stuff together in my uninterested mind in like third grade.
Could be. Because a lot of these aren't all that memorable, and a lot of them are a lot shorter too.
Yeah,
I think
well, it's also that wartime era,
yeah.
which makes
So I
sense.
think they were doing like something before or after like the big newsreels of everything that was going on too. So
Yeah,
the only one I remember that I know I watched, well, there's the Three Caballeros and the Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Those are the only ones that I remember watching from that era.
yeah.
And the Three Caballeros was interesting because it was they mixed in live action with the animated. And then of course Ichabod and Mr. Toad. I mean, the scenes from Ichabod
Oh yeah.
is pretty intense on some of them, so for sure.
You're right. And then you move to the silver, which I thought Cinderella was gonna be like in the golden age. I don't know. Like
Was
I
older,
again,
yeah.
yeah, because well, I think it's one of those stories that did come out around the same time they did that first batch of like Snow White and like some of those. I feel like it was in that era, but then it came later. I don't know if this is one of those first movies where they didn't know if it was going to do well.
Yeah.
Cinderella. I think I read like someone was talking about they didn't know if people were going to watch it because it's post wartime that they did that. But then you have other stuff like the more memorable stuff like Peter Pan, 101 Dalmatians, in these other movies. Like these are a lot of the ones I remember specifically. Again,
Right.
101 Dalmatians and Peter Pan. Like I really like Peter Pan. I think Hook's one of the better villains for Disney.
Hook is a fun villain. I'll give you that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I don't like what they've done with him recently because if you go to Disney now, they had like a Neverland Pirates TV show for kids without Peter Pan. Like it's another group of kids, but it's none of the Lost Boys, and they're not in any way connected to the Lost Boys. But like Captain Hook's like the obvious villain, of course.
Yeah.
Like the only reason I know is because I had younger siblings, so like they had to watch some what stuff I wanted to watch. I'd watch some stuff they wanted to watch. So it's like that's the only reason why I know that this was a show at any point. Also, for some reason, it's showing up on my TikTok for some reason. I don't know why. So I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
Like, and then you have that sequel.
Yeah, I'll admit Peter Pan was a good one, but of these, I think one of my least favorites for sure is kind of the Jungle Book. I remember watching it had good
Really?
music, but for some reason I just never got like I liked Baloo, but just the overall story just didn't keep my attention. But I love The Sword in the Stone.
Yes.
And that one and 101 Dalmatians, those are my top two from that area.
Is Sword of the Stone where Merlin fights the other lady and they have like the match and
Mad
like
Madam Mim.
yes.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, where's that from?
Yep, that's Sword in the Stone.
Which maybe Neil Gaiman was inspired by when he wrote Sandman. So they do something a very similar scene with
nice.
with Lucifer and Morpheus, the Sandman character.
Oh, nice.
Which is very interesting. It's like I am life. Well, I'm anti-life. He's like, what are you? I'm hope. Like it's like that back, like essentially that back and forth. I guarantee Neil Gaiman had that idea. Like he's like, that's a good idea. I like this. I'm gonna put it in here.
It was definitely an awesome sequence for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like, I think I watched part of Sword and Stone again because I would watch it with a group of people and there were people like that were very uninterested in some movies. I was like, oh, I really want to watch this. And it was years later I had to actually go back and watch it fully.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to the Bronze Era, which I think is kind of like this. I wouldn't say it's forgotten era, but it was this era of heck, let's try stuff mixed with we're just trying to make stuff before the Renaissance. It's like I guess it's like that dark period.
It was considered a dark period. There was definitely you could feel a transition.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of like underrated ones. Like, of course, this is when the Black Cauldron came out, which was a huge flop.
Yes.
And I think that was towards the end of the Bronze Age, and Disney was kind of in a bad spot, kind of like they are now, which is why the Renaissance turned out to be so well.
But for weirdly enough, for two different reasons.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was just this. I think there was a change in the culture. I think from the 70s to 80s.
Yeah.
And Disney kind of just got stuck there.
Yeah, it was a very dark kind of movie too.
Yeah,
because I know I've watched it. It's been a long time, but I know I watched The Black Cauldron a long time
ago. The Horn King's
pretty dark.
Great. Was that John Hurt? R.I.P.
Yeah.
Robin Hood's good. I like Robin Hood, even
but
though
I love Robin Hood. It's definitely one of my favorites.
It makes no sense why they're animals, but it's a great movie.
Hey, you know what? It's fun.
Why not?
Yeah. Well, and then you have the Great Mouse Detective. I mean, there were a lot of classics.
Great Mouse Detective, yeah.
Great Mouse Detective was fantastic, and that had one of the best villain voice actors in Vincent Price.
Yes, it was Vincent Price. That is right. With he was Ratigan.
Ratigan.
That's Ratigan. It's funny you like Robin Hood, but they reuse a lot of animation from Jungle Book.
They do. They do.
Which is
well, I mean,
funny.
You had Baloo as Little John, so I mean,
yeah.
But it's just a better story, and I don't know. I liked it.
That's fair. It's fair. And then you get to the Renaissance, which I think.
No, I'm not done. Oliver and Company had awesome music.
Yeah, he's not done, man. Calm down.
Yeah.
Yes. Who's crap? What's his name in Oliver Company? Because it's the Oliver Twist story.
Billy Joel.
Was it Billy Joel?
Oliver Twist.
Yeah.
Well, Billy Joel did the dog that did all the Dodger.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, Dodger. I was like, I know it's because it's Oliver Company is Oliver Twist story, but with animals, and I could not think. Yeah. I couldn't. I was like, it's Daredevil Dodger, but I can't remember what they called him. I'm like, it can't be they just called him Dodger. It's too obvious. But that's the case. That's like Dodger. The one thing I know.
And Crab mentioned tearing up at Bambi before. I think he was joking, but I will be completely honest. The Fox and the Hound I cannot watch without tearing up.
Yeah.
When she drops Todd off in the forest, it hits me every time.
Also, in this period, I think we really got the secondary ancillary character that you could really cut out of the film and not be affected in this era. Because I guarantee there was some focus group with Fox and the Hound were like, hey, it's too sad. You need to add the birds and the caterpillar and their story.
Oh, I see.
Because if you watch that movie, it makes no sense and it's distracting.
It's just filler. And to break up the tension of the seriousness of the story.
But you could do it way better. Like Beauty and the Beast is a good movie, but LeFou is that breaking of tension character.
Oh yeah.
In a way, him and a couple, but like it's done better. Like it's better written that way. I feel personally.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, LeFou and um, what was the name? The candle
Yeah.
guy.
Lumiere,
Because him on the clock.
Cogsworth. I think this was his name.
And um,
Not Lumiere.
Wasn't it Lumiere and
characters
Cogsworth?
to break up some of the tension. Yeah. Yeah, the Redneck of Notre Dame. Good movies, but
Yeah.
really
Hunchback of Notre Dame, I like.
them.
But those gargoyles
But
don't need to be in the movie.
I mean,
there we go.
okay, there we are. Tarzan had a lot of cool stuff too.
I was confused. I thought it was strange. And I was like, no, it's me. It has to be me. Because I was fine until that moment. Someone else is on their computer. Because it dropped as soon as I heard a door shut. So, but again, you're saying Tarzan, which I think is a really good movie.
Yeah, Tarzan did a lot of really
Tarzan,
cool things.
man.
I think that kind of ended that era too. But it was just they hit after hit with, I think Little Mermaid started it, and then they had Beauty and the
Yes.
Beast, Aladdin, Hercules, Lion King, Mulan. I mean, Mulan, Make a Man Out of You is probably one of the most popular
Oh, that's a classic.
Disney songs of all time.
I think this is also where they added the song. At least it became really prevalent. This adding a song to the Disney movie was in this era.
Making them more musical, I would say, yeah.
Yeah,
more musicals. Because some of the older ones, Oliver and Company was, but like Great Mouse Detective, Robin Hood. Robin Hood had a couple songs, but it wasn't really like a musical like some of these other ones.
No.
Yeah.
Which, funny enough, you're talking about Tarzan. That's the movie I didn't like as a kid, but now I really appreciate. It was only because my brother really liked it, and because he was really into animals, so that's why he liked it. And I was like, I don't like. Now I'm like, oh, I really like this movie because I like a lot of those pulp characters because I didn't know he was a pulp character. Because for those who don't know, Tarzan's one of those like older characters that's been around like novelization and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, been around forever.
Yeah, when I found that out, it switched something in my brain. I was like, oh, I really like this.
Yeah,
Tarzan had really good music too.
Who was the villain? I can't remember his name.
Oh,
starts with a C. I think that's also this era started. I think the shocking death of a villain.
Shere Khan?
No, it was not Shere
Tarzan.
Khan.
The hunter.
Oh, the hunter.
No, Shere Khan was Jungle Book.
Jungle Book. Was it Clyde? Right. No, it's not Clyde.
It's not Clyde. It
starts with a C, I think. Clyde's a weird name for a villain, so I doubt it's that.
Kerchak.
No, it's not Kurt. The Kerchak was the monkey. Clayton.
Oh, sorry, Clayton.
That's what it is. Clayton. Yeah, his death. It was just.
Yeah, his was. Brutal,
I was like, holy crap! You're just like, again. I think it was just like Ursula's death, getting impaled by the boat.
Yeah.
Spoilers for a movie that's like 30 years old at this point, like, or however old it is now. It's up there. So,
well, even Lion King, Scar getting pretty much torn apart by his army, his own army.
Yes.
Or I mean, the father Mufasa falling.
Well, that too. Yeah. I mean,
that wasn't graphic,
as a kid, man.
That wasn't graphic, but that's still rip your heart out.
Brutal. Yeah. Which, and then of course you had the sequel where they revealed like Scar had a son, which they never referenced before that point.
Yeah, well, I think because they kind of insinuate that there were lionesses that ended up liking Scar and kind of broke off after Simba came back. So,
but you never see them mentioned in the first movie. So
yeah, because
no one goes
I thought that was a good sequel. I honestly thought Lion King 2 was a good sequel.
It is
a really good one.
I like that.
I think one we're overlooking in that whole period, which is still fairly popular today, because I see like TikToks on occasionally, is a Goofy movie.
Oh yeah, it's not even on this list, is it?
Oh no, it's not. Yeah, Goofy movie I think came out of that Disney. I think it came out of the renaissance of the Disney afternoon. I think it was what after that period, because there was the Goof Troop show.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
the Goof Troop
1995 is when the Goofy movie came out.
Yeah,
So 95. So yeah,
yeah.
later Renaissance. But yeah, no, that was an amazing movie. I love that movie so much.
And people
So-
still do like the Powerline dance
Oh, yeah.
and all that
I
stuff.
see it
now.
all the
Disney-
time on TikTok.
Disney
Yeah.
right now had like a pop punk album. They did that song. I was like, why is this the thing? Makes no sense. Like, whatever. I
Yeah.
guess was people are like now. I guess. I mean, I don't hate pop punk, but it's like, I don't know.
I don't know. But because I watched the Goof Troop show,
Oh, yeah.
and to see Max as
An
older,
adult. Yeah.
well,
Not an adult.
high school,
Older, like a high school.
High school,
Teenager.
yeah.
Yeah, high school. Yeah.
And go through all of that stuff. It was but I was also, that movie hits a special part of me because I was raised as an only child by a single
Mm.
father. So it was just me and my dad. So that movie hits kind of special
Nice.
with me. Yeah.
I think I also like in this, I like that Pete and Goofy are like these two, I wouldn't say rivals, but they're
Kind of.
those,
I mean, yeah.
but I like them better together than, let's say, Pete and Mickey,
Right. Well,
Who-
yeah. When Pete's
who
the
have
actual
been-
like bad guy and not just another dad who likes to show off or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
I to me, Pete was always, he's that one dad you always see who's trying to show off. But like push comes to shove, he does like care for PJ
Yeah.
in like in his weird own way, like his own self-obsessed way. He cares for PJ.
Well, it's implied too that they're kind of like wealthy, and so PJ gets spoiled.
Really?
But at the same time, yeah. Well, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you talk about in a Goofy movie, like he has the giant RV,
Oh, okay.
you know, and all this equipment,
All
and
the nice
everything like
stuff.
that. So yeah, all the nice stuff. And Goofy just kind of, it's just
Yeah.
like basic lower middle class or whatever.
But also, I think Goofy's comfortable. Like, he seems he's like that
Oh,
type
yeah.
of character. Like he's meant to be that.
Yeah, he doesn't
type of
mind it at
character.
all. Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a really nice tribute to the Goofy movie and the DuckTales show that they did, the recent one, the reboot.
Oh, really?
They did.
I never got around to watching that.
So there's an episode where they referenced the DuckTales movie. They reference the genie, Gene the Genie. They reference him,
Okay.
and it's a whole episode about getting family photos taken. And Donald is like getting so frustrated that no one's trying to help, like trying to make like that perfect photo.
Yeah.
So it then becomes like a sitcom because like they find Gene the Genie or whatever, like how the episode goes. So it becomes like a sitcom, and they make fun of the Quack Pack, that forgotten Disney afternoon show.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone that and then like Goofy shows up and he gives like Donald some like advice. He just can't just bumbles in like as Goofy would, shows up, and it's really fun. Like he shows pictures and stuff that's referencing both Goofy movies. I was like, oh, that's really fun. There's also a Gargoyles reference in the finale, but
Oh, nice.
which is really great. Which they're still trying to make a movie of that. But then you get to the post-Renaissance, like which would have been around when I like stuff I was around, and I forgot dinosaurs was in this.
And I like that movie. I do. I watched it a few times.
Yeah, I forgot about dinosaurs too, actually.
And then you had
It didn't get the credit it deserved because of mixing so well the CGI and the real
Yeah.
life.
Right.
And I thought they did such a good job to where it was like pretty much seamless. Like it was really cool.
yeah, this is also the period where they're experimenting with stuff too, like
There's
Treasure
a lot of
Planet.
experimentation.
Treasure
Yeah.
Planet is very experimental because how everything looks, just doing this like steampunky alien like movie, but
Yeah.
off like a well-known book.
Yeah, Treasure Island in space. But they did so
Like
well.
that's a really fun idea.
And what they did with Silver, with his relationship with Silver,
Yes.
so good. I love how they did that whole deal. Just did such a good job with it.
And I think this is also like where they were like, hey, again, let's do what we did in the past of like, let's mix books or other stories, but like, let's add a new layer to it, like a new spin to it.
Mhm.
Because then you have stuff like Atlantis, which is a
Yeah, Atlantis.
great
Yeah.
movie.
Atlantis, fantastic one.
And then you have Emperor's New Groove.
That's a
Amazing
classic
film.
one too. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Which did you see the video? There's a video out there. Later I think I'll just post a link to it. Secret Galaxy or Toy Galaxy, what I'm calling, did a whole video of the original script for Emperor's New Groove. It was like a totally different movie.
I'm sure.
Really?
It was, and I think it wasn't gonna have David Spader in it. Or David Spade, not David Spader. I'm adding letters.
Yeah, David Spade, yeah.
I think it was supposed to be some other comedian. I want to say it was John Belushi.
By
I
the way,
would say
on
Go
a
ahead,
side note with Emperor's New Groove, as far as doing the animation to look like the real person, the way they did Yzma with Eartha Kitt was like
Yeah.
spot on. And I mean
For
that in a
years,
nice way.
for years, never knew that was Eartha Kitt. I never knew the connection. And she, of course, she was one of the 3 Catwoman actresses from the 66 show.
All right.
But Emperor's New Groove, I think that is probably the best example of character casting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because
I don't think
really
you could
that
have picked
era.
anyone more perfect for any of those characters.
No,
And-
especially for
and
Kronk.
Yeah, and I remember behind the scenes thing, I think the director or somebody was talking and be like, if we made a live action out of this, you could use those exact same people and they would still fit the look and feel of those characters
Oh,
exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
John Goodman,
And
which
John
is, I think,
Goodman.
he really plays a certain character very well. And I think
does.
he's known that. He's like that. I wouldn't say like not like essentially what Goofy's role is, where he's that suburban dad,
Yeah.
or at least how Goofy kind of feels, depending on like where he's at. Like
Well, he
that's
did
John
it so
Goodman.
long as in Roseanne,
Yeah,
where he was Roseanne's husband.
Yeah.
And he did that. I thought he did a good job on that show. So
oh yeah. Didn't watch Roseanne, but I know
my
of
dad
it.
did, so I caught some of it.
That's fair. But yeah. I tried watching the sequel they did where it's all Kronk, and I was like,
Kronk's New Groove.
I was like,
Yeah, that wasn't that great.
I was like,
I'll
this
be
isn't
honest.
very watchable. Like, Kronk's a great character, but in like small doses.
They didn't need to do a whole movie with him.
No.
They could have left well enough alone.
No. It's I was like, because I didn't realize that they made 2 separate movies at first, so I was like, this isn't what I remember. And then I'm like, oh shoot, this is the sequel they did. Like, it's not that great.
Yeah,
it's not very watchable.
But
and then Chicken
then-
Little's on here.
Yeah, Chicken Little. So that one was interesting. I enjoyed it, but I know a lot of people that didn't.
Oh, I know a lot of people that don't like this movie
Yeah,
too.
I thought it was good, but I was gonna say so. Definitely top 2 out of this whole post Renaissance. You have Emperor's New Groove, and I'm gonna say like not box office wise, top 2.
Yeah. Yes.
Lilo and Stitch.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Which is
I would also-
timely because they're
Yeah.
making a new one.
I would also
Well,
throw Monsters Inc. in there. That's just me.
That was Pixar though, wasn't it?
That's Pixar.
Yeah.
Well, it's a co-production, but yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the underrateds were Treasure Planet and Atlantis for sure. They did not get
Oh,
the
for sure.
response they should have.
No.
Did either of you watch Home on the Range?
I watched the
think
trailer. That's as
so.
far as I got.
Maybe.
That movie's.
That's another one where a lot of
Off-putting.
people didn't like it. I really actually liked it. I watched it a few times. I had it on DVD, and
I was not
watched
interested
it.
in
quite a few
cows,
times.
so
It was funny. It was fun characters. That's what. But it
How
was. I
about-
mean, it was a kind
Yeah.
of comedy similar to Emperor's New Groove, where it was kind of a little different than their normal
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So
How about Brother Bear?
starring
Another
Joaquin
underrated.
Phoenix. So
I
That's-
really liked the movie. I thought it was a great
Oh,
story,
yeah.
great visuals, very touching. Music was awesome. It was the same guy who did Tarzan. I can't remember his name right now.
Phil
oh
Collins.
yeah,
Bill Collins, yeah. So he wrote all the songs for that one too.
it's a good movie. It's yeah. I remember seeing the trailer for. I was like, oh, this is very interesting. Because like, and then of course, again, side characters. I didn't find that annoying. They're kind of just there. I think they were there just by the trailer where they're for some reason they're Canadian moose, but
That's
makes
The
no
two- yeah.
sense. And that
well, they were actual like comedians that did stuff all the time. I
Yeah.
love those guys. Those were my
oh yeah,
favorite parts of that movie.
they're the not very annoying side characters
Yeah.
because they're only there once or twice.
Yeah, they hit it just right. I had such a good break in the tension without
Oh
being
yeah,
annoying, like you said. Yeah.
yeah. Like it's like one gripe in movies. I'm like, oh, you're that annoying side character, and you're not gonna leave. Like,
Yeah.
drives me crazy in some movies. And
But
again, Lilo
this,
and Stitch, like
yeah,
that was also like a weirdly experimental movie.
it was.
Like,
It was a
but
big
it
risk,
had
I think.
three
Yeah.
movies and a TV show, so it did like apparently it did well.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Yeah, no, it's a huge hit. I mean, Stitch is still one of the most popular
oh,
characters
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
of all time for Disney because it's on so much merch. Everybody loves Stitch.
Oh
Yeah.
Did you know they had to well at the end of they had to change the end of the movie? The plane for the movie, there's the whole spaceship where it crashes. They had to
Mm.
change where it was because this is pre or post 9/11 that this movie had been worked on.
Oh yeah.
So it was supposed to fly between two towers and they had to change it. Or near a tower, they had to change it. They're like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Same with that Spider-Man movie. The original Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie. There's a trailer where Spider-Man hangs a helicopter between the twin towers,
Mm-hmm.
and they had to delete the trailer off the what was like essentially like infancy of the internet.
I think that was like a poster too, and they
Yeah,
had
it
to
probably
take that
was.
poster down.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
But
So
this was definitely the era where they started crossing into 3D and
yeah,
didn't look back.
no, they did not. But here
Speaking
it
of Nightmare
wasn't
Before Christmas,
egregious. That's claymation. It's not.
you can call it. It's stop motion, but yeah,
It's stop
That's
motion, yeah.
fair. Was that Disney?
I
yeah.
don't
It was
think
it was
was it?
co-produced with
Really,
Skeleton Productions.
I don't think
really.
so.
That's a
I
little
feel
kind of
known
like
forget.
fact for you.
claymation movies should be a whole nother like
Category.
That's yeah.
discussion some other point, some other time.
That's yeah.
That's
That's
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
and then we get into the essentially what was the revival, which I think I've seen most of these movies. I think there's a couple like there are a couple. It's like you have Wreck It Ralph and
Great
like
movie. I love that movie so much.
Frozen, which I find very annoying.
I Frozen,
Overquoted. I feel like.
the
Personally.
music was fantastic. The rest of it I didn't care for.
Yeah,
Because I called the surprise villain like way early. I was looking at him like, is he? Because I was watching with a friend who'd seen it before I had, and it was my first time.
yeah.
And I was like, is he going to be the bad guy? And he was like, I don't know. And I was
Well,
like,
I think this is also where Disney was like, hey, let's keep doing surprise villains.
yeah, they kind of started doing it because Big Hero 6 was the surprise villain.
Yeah, I like that movie too, and I
I did like
don't
it, but
like the
yeah.
villain twist because
Um,
it's kind of out of nowhere.
yeah. But they had their last 2D hand-drawn animated, which was Princess and the Frog, and then everything else was 3D.
Oh
Well,
yes,
and Winnie the
Doctor
Pooh.
2009.
Doctor
Yeah.
Facilier,
Doctor Facility is great.
voiced by Keith David.
Great
Which,
villain Keith David, who's going to be at Fan X
oh, is he?
in the end of September. So I'm
Nice.
gonna try and either get a photograph or autograph from him.
You should ask him if he's going to come back to Gargoyles.
I'd be surprised if he didn't, because he has such the classic voice for that.
He was Goliath, so like they changed the voice. Everyone gets so mad.
I bet.
Like,
I didn't really follow Gargoyles, but I definitely understand
oh yeah,
the anger from that decision.
yeah. This era, I think that like the best one out of all of this. Apparently, there's a Winnie the Pooh movie in here too.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one it
2011.
was. There was a couple.
Zootopia is my best out of
Oh
this
yeah,
whole list.
Zootopia was in there.
I love Zootopia.
Zootopia. I like. I think my best one's Wreck It Ralph. I think I like that more on a
It's
spectacle
really close.
level.
Wreck-It Ralph was really close. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Big Hero 6 like is like that number two, but only because I like that was like a movie like my friends and I liked a lot. But again, Princess and the Frog, and then there's Bolt. Bolt's kind of just
Yeah.
tucked in there.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Bolt? Because I do want to hear that.
Bolt was a movie I remember watching, and I was intrigued because I liked what they tried doing was like implying a twist, like if he had powers or not, and I was like, this is such a weird movie
I feel like
and a very forgettable villain.
yeah. I feel like that movie, because I had friends who didn't really like see much of the trailers or anything, so they were going into it kind of blind. And it has that whole introduction of, the dog that's been rebuilt, and he's like the $6 million man, but a dog,
He's
and has
dynamite.
all these powers and stuff. And then it cuts, and then you find out it's a TV show, and they were like all disappointed because they were like all into the whole,
Yeah.
But I think if they
It's
would have made that movie, I think it would have been really fun and really cool.
if they
But
stuck with it.
if they stuck
Because
with it
then
instead of
it
making it,
becomes
it's
something
just a
else.
TV show and it's all fake,
Yeah. Yeah. And then you had the side character
I didn't care for the hamster.
Rhino. Yeah.
Rhino,
Like,
yeah.
whatever his
I
name
liked the
was.
cat, but I didn't like the hamster.
Yeah, it's such an odd movie. And some people really like it. And I'm just kind of I was like, oh, it's kind of here. Like
Yeah.
the one segment mine was again Big Hero 6 because everyone was like, when it gets to the scene with Fred's room, and if you're watching the video version, the joke makes more sense. If you see what's behind me, everyone's go, oh, that's Nathan's room. And that time was not, and now I look at it, I'm like, gosh darn it. Freaking this character. Because I dressed
I
very
could
similar
totally
at
see
that
you as
time
that
too.
character too.
I dressed very similar at that time as well. I used to wear beanies a lot. I don't really anymore. But
well, with the backwards hat, it almost still looks the same.
yeah, like I kind of adopted that more because it was more tactical, and I didn't want to die in 90-degree weather.
No.
Like right now. And then we get to the new era, which I don't know
where it started dying.
Yeah, there was this gradual like decline, and at first it was like, oh, here's a dud or two.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got into, especially after Disney Plus, they were just like, we're gonna do everything and anything.
Yeah.
Like I was like, it's kind of
yeah, just going down the list here because I stopped kind of halfway through this, but Wreck-It Ralph 2 had its moments, but it wasn't really needed. I don't think it did as well as it could have.
It was Disney the ad.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Disney the ad.
That's
the
what it
whole
was.
princess room and everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny though.
Frozen 2,
Didn't watch.
music was not near as good as the first one. I felt like the story was a little better, but also like super cheesy at the same time.
Yeah.
It was kind of a miss there. You have Raya and the Last Dragon, which is
Didn't watch.
Avatar: The Last Airbender with a dragon.
With
I don't
dragons. And Aquafina. Because she
know.
was
Aquafina,
a
she doesn't annoy me as she does a lot of other people, but
she annoys me. I find her very
Encanto's
annoying.
pretty good, I thought.
I never watched Encanto. After Raya the Last Dragon, I stopped.
You have
Yeah.
to watch Encanto. I think it's pretty good. That's just
I got annoyed by the music. Like for me, like I don't mind music in Disney movies, but you can't base your whole movie on the music and not the story. Like, not saying Encanto has a good good or bad
Frozen.
story. Yeah. I'm not gonna say it's good or bad from that. It just wasn't very interested.
The only thing that I know about that movie is we don't talk about Bruno. That's the only thing I know.
That song got sung a lot at kids camp.
Yeah.
Because they decided, hey, you're gonna do lip sync battle. And one of the cabins did that, and I was like, I don't care.
I wouldn't mind singing Encanto. I just never got around to it. But Strange World, I have no desire. Wish, I have no desire to watch.
Yeah, I didn't watch them.
How about the Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger?
That movie's
I'm so
odd.
on the fence about that one.
Hey,
I haven't watched it, but I don't know if I want to or not.
Hey, it had a Transformer in it.
Hey, having Chip and Dale with normal voices, I just don't think I can get.
But it's like weird because it's in that stream of consciousness of their 90s like Disney cartoon era.
Yeah.
Because let's do Chip and Dale, these two characters, but let's put them in like this other adventure setting. So like, but then it's like, let's do a twist villain with Peter Pan. Like, because he's like a failed actor. Like they say he's like a kid. He's like a kid actor who never got any other roles because he grew up. Like, and he starts like a drug cartel, which is like, are you making fun of any of your like kid actors that went crazy from the Disney Channel? What are you doing?
I think it was just really weird, and they threw everything out there. I mean, they had Ugly Sonic in it. I do know they had that was in there.
and He-Man and Skeletor were in their first scene.
Wow.
I'm like, what is this movie? And also I'm like, hold on, Disney. I don't think you own that. That's my other. It was like, I don't think you own that. Blaster from Transformers is in it. I'm like, I don't think you own that either. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it was very weird. So
Like,
I don't know. I still don't think I want to watch it, but part of me is like super curious at the same time.
yeah, it's
All right.
and then there's like a weird Gumby character. Like,
Oh yeah,
what is that movie?
I think they just, because like especially my generation, I loved Rescue Rangers as a kid. It was one of my favorite shows. I didn't watch a lot of Disney Channel, but Rescue Rangers and Darkwing Duck were definitely my two shows.
Yes.
Nice.
And I think they just really tried to hit a lot of nostalgia from my generation as threw in as much as they could.
So, seeing how we've gone through the touch on like the modern, there are a couple other movies I think that aren't there, but I can't freaking remember them. Like,
Well, we
we
talked about Goofy movie, but not Goofy movie 2 or the
extremely goofy movie,
extremely Goofy movie there. Yeah.
very 2000s.
That was a good one.
I enjoyed it.
recall.
I like that Goofy got the girl. I felt like Max was
Yeah.
insignificant in there. I felt
And
like
then
it was
they
Goofy's movie.
and then they later give him a different girl.
I don't
And
know
one of
anything about that.
so they did like a Christmas special collection, and it's a different girl.
Hmm.
Or maybe it's implied it's the same girl, but that she got a different haircut, but her name's
No.
different. Makes no sense.
I don't know anything about that.
It was one of those weird things from the early 2000s, like the Christmas special they did. That I kind of like. I put it on. I kind of like it. Not that segment, but I like the other segments of it that I really like. There's like interesting pieces.
Yeah.
But like going in with what crowd was going with of like extremely good movie, then you had like that small sliver in between the Renaissance and like pre-Renaissance where you kind of had sequel movies and then like live action stuff. There are some gems in there, but also some were just all duds. Like I don't like most of the live action stuff. I could care less.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
were there any of the like direct to VHS or direct to DVD sequels that you did like and watch over again?
Lion King 1.5.
Really? 1.5? I mean, I watched it.
shocked.
I kind of enjoyed it. It had
I
good
liked
songs,
it.
but
I think I liked the behind the scenes jokey nature of it. For some reason that caught reason that caught in my mind. I think that's what affected me later in life with like the jokes me and my friends make.
Yeah.
I think I just like the feel of it.
I just remember I really liked the song Dig a Tunnel in that one. Dig a tunnel.
Yeah.
Dig a tunnel.
Yeah. I think I just like the fourth wall nature of it that I think wasn't too annoying.
I really liked the Aladdin 2 Return of Jafar.
Where they finally gave Jafar a song.
Well,
he never had a song?
He kind of he
had
a
reprise.
He had a reprise in the first one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he had a reprise.
And I did like Aladdin King of Thieves, where his dad comes in and they do the Midas touch. I thought that was actually a really well done sequel too.
Did anyone watch the Little Mermaid sequel?
Yes.
Where they introduced Ursula's sister.
Oh yeah, who's like skinny.
Yeah, for some reason. I remember that. And then brought back in because Disney for some reason made it like a segment of movies called Descendants. And the only reason I know this exists because it's on TikTok, because there's a certain group of people that are on my age that like this stuff, and I don't know why, because it's not great. Where I don't know why people connect with that stuff, but where everything's got to be leather. Ugh. Horrible. And then there was an Aladdin TV show.
Yep. I watched some of that.
There's a Hercules TV show. There's a Little Mermaid TV show.
I don't remember the Little Mermaid.
The one episode I remember is where Flounder got turned into a werewolf.
I vaguely remember that.
For some reason, I was like, why is this an episode? Why is this the thing? But why do you guys think now Disney's kind of like this weird funk of, I guess, dud after dud? with like any of their stuff, like any of the stuff they're part of.
I think they've forgotten the lessons of yesteryear.
Yeah.
They
What made
forgot
them
that it's about
successful.
this. Sorry, go ahead.
No, basically what I figured, which I think you're figure getting ready to say strange, pardon me, words if I could use them. Is like you said, they've forgotten kind of what the formula was that made them popular, and they decided to kind of just try to appease everybody and anybody, and
Yeah.
I don't even think they're trying to appease. Well, maybe they are, but
Some
they're
people
trying
are.
to push to push kind of an agenda or something like that.
yeah,
They're hiring these directors and story writers who are all about wanting to get their view of things out there, and they're
yeah,
not about telling a good story
Yeah.
anymore.
right,
And that's their biggest flaw right now. And I think they can come back, and I think they've mentioned. I think the lead guy in Disney talked about he wants to get back to making sure it's about the story.
Yeah.
But that's where they fail is they're not telling good stories, and they're just trying to push agendas or they're hiring these directors who are just wanting to get their views out there and have nothing to do. And this goes into like the Star Wars and the Marvel, who have very little knowledge of the source material they're pulling from, and they're just kind of doing their own thing,
Yeah.
which is
It's
taken away from the, like, especially Star Wars
the appeal and what
fans who have
people
been
enjoyed.
dedicated to it for like ever and know the ins and outs. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it's also ever since Disney Plus came along, they've been focused on the quantity, not the quality. Like, let's just
yes,
turn stuff out.
yep,
And well, at first they were like, hey, we're gonna have a schedule. You're gonna get like with Marvel and Disney, it was supposed to flip flop. So that way you had time to watch one, and if you want, you watch the other, or you wait, or you go back and watch something
mm-hmm.
else that's on Disney Plus. And then it's like, let's put two shows out in the same week, like back to back. I was like, but what if I want to watch both, but I only have time to watch one? Which one do I like go with? I think people now have started falling off. Like, I don't know the last thing I watched on Disney Plus besides X-Men 97 that I was actually excited to watch. That was like
Yeah,
waiting for the next episode. Like
yeah. I think they're doing things where, like you said, it's more about quantity because, like, being more into Star Wars,
yeah,
when they did the Obi-Wan series, they could have crunched that into a movie instead of making it a series. Like they didn't need to extend out that far.
yeah,
Um
yeah.
and stuff like that. So
But also like they're stuck in like this weird period of like, hey, let's do sequels, but also I think that's also gonna try to dig themselves out. Like I'm not interested in a Toy Story 5. Toy Story 5.
right.
I
Well,
don't
and
care.
not only sequels, but these live action remakes, I
Yeah,
think is another thing that's killing them because they're just trying to, once again, quantity. Oh, don't have any new ideas, so this was a hit, so let's do it again.
yeah.
But they're failing in realizing what made it a hit, because I could say for like The Lion King, trying to make it look realistic with those animals, you lose the facial expressions,
It
and that
becomes Air
killed a lot
Buddies.
of what was going on.
yeah.
And
It's
they're missing movies that would be really good as live action remakes. And I think I saw this, and I don't know if it's real, and I really hope it is, but I think I saw a reveal of Atlantis getting remade.
hmm.
Hmm.
And that is one. Atlantis and Treasure Planet are the two that I've constantly heard. If you're going to do a live action remake, do these two.
I also
And
argue I argue with that you could. I don't know why Disney doesn't do like, because theaters do re-releases of movies for like anniversaries. You go, hey, here's some movies for the summer, and they go, these are movies that didn't do when they came out. We're gonna put back out so your kids can enjoy it. Maybe they have appreciation for it
right.
and have like fun with it. Like if they did something like that instead of trying to remake stuff
Mm-hmm.
all the time, like I don't know. I think streaming services for a lot of companies have now just become a tax write-off, where they just throw everything on there.
Did you hear that Chick-fil-A is doing a streaming service?
I heard that.
Why?
I heard that.
Are they gonna get the
Like-
lady that from the meme? Is she gonna be the spokesperson? Like,
I don't know.
I mean,
what is it gonna be about?
what's going
Is
to
it
be
gonna- is it-
original programming? It's going
Is
to
it
be
gonna be
original
down
programming.
on Sundays?
It is, yeah.
But if but if they could do it right, like they do food right, then I'm pretty intrigued.
I mean, they could do it right, but at the same time, it's like with people, so many streaming services out there, are you really going to want to add another one
Yeah.
to what
Could
you
be an
already
alternative,
have
I
and
don't
just
know.
add that extra expense?
Is it
Unless you're
gonna
just
be-
fed up with what's out there and you just want something different, you're going to cancel the other stuff. But
Is it
otherwise,
gonna-
it's like,
Yeah, why? Is it gonna be like that KFC fanfic that became a movie? I think it was KFC. Yeah, it was KFC. It was like the origin of the Colonel. It was like a love fanfic with, I don't want to say it was George Lopez, but it was some Mexican actor. It was such a, like, I didn't watch it. I had zero interest because it's not my type of movie to watch. But I heard a lot of people talking about it. I was like, this is like, I don't know.
yeah.
But I think Disney could try pull. I think maybe they're going to go through like a second renaissance. I just hope that they get some of these people that are these newer directors and actors that want to tell a story.
Yeah.
Because there is some good quality stuff Disney puts out, but it's like very like you kind of have to find it. Like Disney, for some reason, doesn't want to advertise that. They want to advertise, hey, we're doing a Lion King prequel movie.
Mufasa.
But I don't care about, or
Right.
I know what's going to happen to Mufasa. Spoilers,
Right.
he dies. Like,
Well, it's.
I
I
don't know.
think they're gonna do if it's an origin story. I haven't looked too much into it, but you're also going to get some of Scar's origin, which I think a lot of people want to know.
But they also told it in the kids show that apparently no one to watch. There's a Lion King
Yeah,
kids
but
show.
there's
They
a lot of
told some
people.
of it in. That's
yeah,
fair. I don't know why I know about it, but
yeah, because I know they did do that, but I haven't watched. I think I've watched the first episode of that show, and I
The
never
Lion
watched
Guard or
any
whatever
more.
it was
The Lion
called.
Guard, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's I like Disney. I have Disney Plus. There's stuff that I want to watch, but like it's frustrating when I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not excited to watch the next thing Disney puts out. Like,
Right, and I have Disney Plus as well, but I use it for the old movies that I really enjoyed.
Right.
I watch again, and Bluey, and Star Wars stuff. But
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care much about Star Wars. I like Star Wars, but like I was excited for the Acolyte, which they ended up canceling, which for whatever reason they canceled Acolyte, whether it was from all the hate or maybe they didn't see it as justifiable to get another season to tell the rest of the story. Whatever the case was, I should have been excited because it was like this period where I was like, oh, I'd like to see more of that, like the like an older Republic before everything else, not tied into any other characters, because Star Wars is stuck in this weird period of like, let's just focus on this, not move on. And then I was like, oh, I'm not interested in what's going on. Like just like on if you go to the Hasbro website, all the stuff for the Acolyte, the toys they made, all got pulled. As soon as they announced the cancellation, all just gone. It was weird. I was like, oh, you really want to bury this somewhere.
Yeah.
It'll all show up at Ollie's. I found it really funny. But yeah, I don't know. Disney could do it. I mean, I think what this plan they have is what, 2025 till 2026. This plan they have it running to of like kind of what plan they made,
No.
I think. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I also could see, because I think Crad, you and I have talked about this. There's going to be other companies that have seen that Disney is kind of trying to rebuild, that they could just pick up steam and come to the forefront like these other companies that can make content that have been buried by Disney essentially.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a good. I think it's good for both that Disney can just step back for a bit and rebuild, but also give like other limelight to other companies. but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. I think if they don't have another Renaissance, then they're really gonna suffer.
Yeah. And I don't think Disney will ever go away. I just think that they will
No.
just
Well, the movies is
be
such a
there.
small
No, yeah.
part of their actual like profits.
Oh yeah, it's the
Yeah.
theme parks that
Yeah.
they've got.
The theme
Like,
parks is like half of their profits, and then you have all
oh
the
yeah.
merchandise. So
Oh yeah. Like
they're not
there's
gonna go
Disney
out of business anytime
stores.
soon.
There's Disney stores, so like they'll
Yeah.
be fine. Like I just think that after a while that they're just gonna, I guess, be where like these like other companies are gonna be at, where they kind of just like coast on what they're known for
Mm-hmm.
and kind of just stay there at some point.
Yep.
Fortunately.
Yeah. Which Disney had a good run. Like,
It
and
did.
if they yeah, like what, from like 30s to ish to now, they've had like a decent run.
Well, there's a reason why they're still the best, but they definitely have a
Yeah.
lot of competition because you talk
Yeah.
about. I mean, of course, we focus on animated movies, and I would rather watch an animated movie than a live action still.
That's fair.
But like looking forward to what's coming out, or what has come out recently, like DreamWorks has been killing it, and they have a movie coming out called Wild Robot, which I'm really excited to see. So
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, this looks interesting. And then like
yeah.
you have other places like DC's trying to pick up steam with more, like more there's DC's trying to pick up steam. There's some projects I'm interested in that's coming out. And then of course, a couple weeks Transformers is getting a new movie. I'm excited. So like these other companies are trying to put stuff out. Like that's like on Disney quality.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like visually interesting. I hope Disney at some point, because I feel like the last couple movies has had the same feel, like animation feel. I hope that they experiment a little more. Because I feel like 2D movies don't do well in theaters anymore.
I feel like they could if they gave it a chance, but they haven't given it a chance since
No.
the
Like,
yeah
what
pre
was the last
2010.
2D movie? What was the last 2D movie that
It was
came out?
either
I don't
Princess
remember.
and the Frog or that Winnie the Pooh movie. I don't know which one came out
Yeah,
before
it
the
was
other.
one of the two.
But
It was one of the two.
yeah,
I don't know. It's
and Princess and the Frog did really good. I know that.
yeah. People remember Princess and the Frog. People don't remember Winnie the Pooh very much. I think he's like I'm sorry, I feel like he's just one of those characters kind of just is there.
Yeah,
I think because also, especially since Disney lost the rights to Winnie the Pooh recently, or at least the book rights,
the
that version.
to the book version, they still have rights to their version with like the red shirt and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Voiced by
So
Jim Cummings. That
yes,
version.
the voice of our generation
Yeah.
kids. Yeah.
Indeed.
He's
The voice of Disney for our generation. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Yep. Is there anything else we want to touch
Every
on with
I thought about doing a series on YouTube or TikTok or something. It's like spot Jim Cummings and just pull up something random. It's like, okay, where is he in this one?
he's random background character in such movie?
Or he's fill in when, like in Lion King, the guy who voiced Scar couldn't do the whole vocal track, so they brought Jim Cummings in
Jeremy
to sing for him.
Irons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's
he's even in
also
Lion King.
yeah. Tangentially, he's in like I think doesn't he also do one of the hyenas? So he was already there.
I don't think so. I don't think that was
He's
Jim.
the one that just babbles.
I thought that was the guy that does
Because it's clearly Whoopi Goldberg and then the other one.
yeah, it's
and
Whoopi
then,
Goldberg and was it Cheech?
Was it Cheech?
Cheech? I think it's Cheech from Cheech and Chong.
It'd be weird if it was just one, not both.
The guy who does Smeagol,
Andy Serkis.
Gollum. I think. Let me see.
Andy Serkis has got him.
Andy's Alfred.
But Ed is the one that you're talking about. Let me see.
Yeah.
Oh no, it is Jim Cummings. Oh, okay.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, look at that. You got it right, boy.
Good job.
Let go.
Hey, he has he's just doing his Taz. That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
Because he's Taz from Looney Tunes. So
I could see that too. Really? Well, it must be new Taz because original Looney Tunes was all just one guy.
Well, it was Mel Blanc, yeah.
Mel Blanc, yeah. The guy of 1,000 voices. Man of a
Which,
1,000
by the way,
voices.
he was very talented.
Very talented.
That's another
Someone did
subject for another day.
someone did a comparison of like Bug's yelling voice, and it's just like Mel Blanc just blowing the speakers out every time he did it. I was like,
Yeah.
I feel sorry for those technicians back in the day, back when
Oh,
like
yeah.
it was just everything was just taped together.
Right.
But is there anything else we want to touch on with Disney?
I'm good if
I
y'all.
think I'm good, yeah.
Yeah. We're not. This whole episode is not us hitting on Disney at all. It's art showing
No.
our appreciation and love of Disney and the stuff, movies they've made.
Amazing company. I mean, so many people's childhoods. They're falling apart and they need to pull themselves back together.
Yeah.
And I really hope they do because they've done some really great stuff and I'd like to see them do more.
I know. Just think about this. Right now, Marvel Comics, they're doing an Avengers versus Aliens crossover because Disney owns both.
Oh, nice.
But it's not. But it's not in continuity. It can't be because you can't have the alien Xenomorphs killing all the Marvel characters
Right.
because that's what would happen. Realistically, that's what would happen. Like,
Maybe.
okay, Iron Man would be dead day one.
Iron Man, yes.
Hulk
I don't know if
might
Thor
survive.
will.
Yeah. Thor would just go,
Hulk.
and we're gonna lock everything away. That's what he would just do.
Yeah.
I don't think he's in that book. I can't remember. I haven't read it yet because I didn't like the art.
It'd be fun to see Hulk take on a xenomorph, but
Oh yeah. You just throw him in the hive, and he just be there for days. Just have fun. But if you enjoyed this fun episode, consider following us on most social media platforms. I got back to posting because I was talking to Shane about this after or before the show. When I post clips, it's when I'm at work on my breaks, but I've been really ridiculous at work, so I haven't had time to post clips. So I've been trying to get back. And also, I've been testing a new time post clips. I don't think it's doing very well because I was looking at some I was watching a video. So I was like, yeah, if you post at noon, I was like, let's test. I'm gonna test on both my channel and this channel of like, what if I posted at noon clips? Like, would it do any better? Like in any way? Not really. Like really enough on TikTok. The one that's got the most views recently is some clip of Strange talking about Thor Ragnarok.
really,
Like
Nice.
I got a
Nice.
ping about it. I got a ping about it the other day. Also, the one was comment is me talking about something about kids that I said. If you're like hating on it, like, bro, why are you beating on kids? I was like, I don't remember saying that, but okay. Like, I was like, hold on, I think I took that out of context. Like that's whatever I said. Something about I don't remember. But
when
go
you were
check
camp
that one.
counselor or something.
Yeah, it was one of those things, which I think we need to do another one of those. And so Strange can tell some of his stuff. Because I do have some other stories that I haven't got to tell. So you can follow all of that and us. You can follow me at ft_reviews. I'm working on a script where I watched Delicious in Dungeon, which is a Netflix anime series where it's like D&D but like cooking. It's a really fun show. Hate the female character. She's very annoying.
Yeah.
She is like so pointless. I was like, why are you here? She does get better later, but it took a bit. I was like, I really don't like you so much. But ProZD's in the show. So like he's like one of the best voices in that. So that'll be up very soon, along with Chick-fil-A. So this is what we were talking about earlier. Their new banana pudding milkshake, which is horrible.
You didn't like it?
No, I
I
don't
heard
like.
good things about it.
It's like very fake banana. Like it doesn't taste right. It just
I thought it was
wasn't that
supposed to have
great.
like banana puree in it and stuff.
It's banana pudding. It didn't taste right. I was like, this isn't for those who like this, you like it. I guess. Not me apparently. But Strange, what are you working on?
I'm getting a little bit back into Twitch here and there. Still not consistent, although I'm waiting for the game Critter Cove to fully come out. It just has the demo right now. Once that comes out, I'll probably be on quite a bit. But the other thing is I'm getting back into writing, so I have a book on Amazon Kindle right now. I'm doing some revisions, and I actually have a cover art that I'm gonna attach to that. So I'll get the book revised here
Nice.
soon, hopefully, and start working on my second one. But you can find it currently digital only on Amazon Kindle. And once I get all the revisions done, I might start getting hard copies of softcover versions of that book. And then eventually next year, I want to start doing recording the audiobook version.
Nice.
Yeah. It is called The Tale of Arita, Arita, if you want to look it up.
Nice. And Crad, what are you working on
Myself.
yourself? Good answer. Good answer.
Thank you.
So this is a fun episode, so we're gonna end it here. Come back next time, whatever topic we talk about. We might as well, since I know Crad, you were talking about getting some guests. I was talking to someone, he has not reached back to me, so I think that might have been a dead end. Because I got famed actor from The Middle, Brick, whatever his name was, his actual name. It's something Schaefer. So, because he was posting, like, he was talking about, like, he's in a Bible study. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, so occasionally you get dead ends, but
Yeah.
doesn't seem like he's on social media much. So I think that's why. Because it was like a month I messaged him, and then he messaged back, and then nothing else. So he's like, down the road. So it happens. It happens. So the end of the episode, come back for episode 25 or 26, whatever episode. I think we're on whatever episode we're on. I can't remember. I tried looking ahead. And I forgot. I didn't have my Excel sheet pulled up. I tried keeping as little tabs open, which helps me for the most part. Until I get that new computer. So which I was talking about that off camera. Comic-Con happened, so that didn't help at all. So I'm gonna end this because I'm just talking.